Sony and specifically Herman Hulst have made some absolutely insane decisions over the past couple of years when it comes to which games will be greenlit and which ones will be shelved. They have doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down on live service slop, titles that gamers are not asking for, and now we're hearing that Sony is remaining committed to diverse and resilient titles like Marathon and Fairgames. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this is absolutely wild because sure, I want every game in theory to come out and for it to be amazing and for someone to enjoy it and for them to be successful, but we have seen game after game after game fail because companies are not listening to what gamers actually want. And I have absolutely no hopes for these titles and no faith in these studios to create something good. Gamers are sick and tired of live service slop, even though the industry is still pushing it because they've greenlit so many of these games that can't be retooled and repurposed. So they have to barrel forward with these plans and try to convince you that the slop they're feeding you is actually good, and it's not working. Sony is sitting here trying to say that, oh, this is the future and this is what we're going for with titles like Marathon and Fairgames, two titles that I personally think are going to be on the scale of Concord. I think that they're going to be major fails. I don't think that they're going to make any money, and that sucks to say because I want games to come out and be good, but at the same time, I can't sit here and say, oh guys, maybe things will turn around with these games when we're talking about plagiarism, we're talking about modern messaging being shoved in your faces. These titles in part are just propaganda. They're not actually supposed to entertain you. So it says, during an annual Sony business presentation, the CEO Herman Hulst stated that the company remains committed to building a diverse and resilient portfolio of live service games, which includes the unreleased Marathon and Fairgames, and that's despite high-profile live service failures. In addition to controversy with these two forthcoming games, I think that this is so funny because if you don't remember, Herman Hulst was the one who went out of his way to purchase Firewalk Studios. He was the one who decided they were going to dump a lot of time and money into Concord. He believed that it was going to be a mega hit. It was going to be a giant franchise. They were going to be able to do spin-off shows and sequels and big marketing material and have a big esports scene. Like, he thought Concord was going to be a major success. So why is it we are putting our faith into him? And sure, someone's career shouldn't be defined by like one single success or failure, but one of that size, the biggest failure in the history of the industry, is just hard to look past. And of course, with Marathon and Fairgames, these are not titles that are going to come out and be good. I honestly think both of these should be shelved. With Fairgames, you have it shoving a fucking political message in your face all the time. It's supposed to be modern day Robin Hood, where you're eating the rich and stealing from the rich, and you're going around and you're trying to help people by getting all of this money. Putting the story aside for a minute, we haven't even seen any gameplay yet, and Jade Raymond ended up leaving the studio because apparently the internal gameplay tests were so bad they were not sure what to do with it. So it sounds like it's in development hell, and that is just a bad picture. And then you get to Marathon. 4 times over the past 5 years, Bungie has been surrounded by plagiarism accusations and controversies, and Marathon is no different. This is a game that clearly has plagiarized content, and there are going to be plenty of people who are only going to see Marathon now and think of the art theft. I feel like they also have a hell of a lot of competition because it is an extraction shooter. I just don't think that the game looks very good in general. We know that the alpha didn't go particularly well, and even its competition, Arc Raiders, did way better when it came to the closed alpha. I mean, they had like 29,000 players, and Marathon only had a couple thousand, so we're talking about even with its competition, it can't hold its own, and those are for closed alpha and betas. I just do not see a way that either of these titles are going to come out and be smashing successes at this point. Hall stated that Sony is building on the successes of games like Helldivers 2 and Destiny 2 for future projects. Yeah, but look at how much time was put into these. Helldivers 2, sure, it came out and it did really fucking good. The player base has kind of dwindled, but Regardless, it did well. That's their most successful live service. And then Destiny 2 took years and years and years to build on, and they were just lucky that they were able to capture a core audience with it, that there is a group of Bungie fans who love Destiny enough to stay with it for so many years. Otherwise, Destiny 2 also probably would have fallen off years ago. So they are really expecting people to see those two game successes and say, oh, well, clearly their next games are going to be great. It says, though, Helldivers 2, the large jewel in Sony's live service crown, was dubbed a resounding critical and commercial success, which is great. It did win a lot of awards. It has a passionate community. I think that that's cool. But again, one or two super successful games doesn't make up for the multiple other failures. And that's not even considering other games from other studios that are live service that have come out and been epic failures, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's the only other live service game I need to compare and say, yeah, listen, these aren't going well. Hulst actually called Marathon innovative and bold. No other compliments were offered to Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter, though the accompanying slide noted strong early engagement as its prime achievement so far. Just because you're engaging with an audience does not mean that audience will buy your game. It does not equate to sales, which I think is important to point out. Companies really do push the mindset of all press is good press, even if it's negative press, and I completely disagree with that. If enough people see your game being embroiled in a fucking theft controversy, they're going to tune it out. They're not going to purchase it. They're not going to want to support you, because who really actually stole that? Or you can say it was a former employee. There's no confirmation of that, though. Somebody still got paid to create the game, so it's hard to trust them. And even putting the controversy aside, Marathon doesn't look particularly good. Fairgames doesn't look particularly good. So if you are really going to sit here and say, oh, it's going to be super successful, and ignoring the controversy, you also have to take into consideration that just the content you've created in general hasn't been received extremely positively. Now, like I mentioned, Fairgames has gone through some major problems. It was recently delayed due to the studio founder Jade Raymond departing for greener pastures. This came following worrying external tests, according to a report from Bloomberg. And when it comes to Marathon, one of its biggest merits was its aesthetic, which was soured due to the art plagiarism scandal. Bungie admitted the use of external art in the game's development process, blaming it on a former employee and committing to a full audit of the game. I think that that is going to be delayed, if not fully shelved. I think that Fairgames is going to go through another delay after this one, and it's just not looking good for Sony in general. And I personally do not trust anything that Hermen Hulst has to say. So yeah, sure, they can remain committed to diverse and resilient live service games, but it's very clear at this point that gamers are committed to rejecting these live service games. So we'll have to see what happens over the next couple of days and weeks. The response to this hasn't been very positive for Sony. Majority of gamers will continue to reject them. Both of these games are so DOA, I guess that they need to lose another few $100 million before finally firing Hermen Hulst. These will hopefully all fail. Absolute insanity. Sony be like throwing money away, burning money. So I'll be keeping my eye on these titles, of course. If they eventually come out, I'll give them a shot, because part of my job is to play video games and review them for you guys. But I have absolutely no hype for these at all whatsoever. And honestly, I don't think that either of these situations are going to go super positively for Sony. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.